and we are back. And after all of that soca and reggae and music and food, we get into our second conversation for this morning. And in studio with us, we have Major Gilbert Suazo from the Ports Commissioner of Belize Port Authority, here to talk to us about the Maritime scholarships. Good morning, Major. How are you?
A pleasant good morning. I am very well, thank God. And again, it's always a pleasure to be here with Channel 5. Open your eyes.
Well, we always love having you here in studio. And as we mentioned off camera, we had already kind of started hearing about the scholarships the last time the Belize Port Authority was here.
Yes.
But now we know what they are. We know what you're offering. So tell us about these scholarships.
I think it is important first to start a look at what maritime is and what the port industry is. The shipping industry is one of the industry that is responsible for over 90% of transporting the world goods across the entire world. And it is also one of those industry which perhaps is not as visible to people, even though the vehicles that we drive, the food that we eat, by and large, because of trade, comes by ship into the respective countries. And so it is then that several people do not perhaps consider a career in the maritime and the port industry or the shipping industry at all. And in Belize, we see that there is a high focus on the traditional kind of education, and not necessarily on the maritime education at all. And so it is then that the Minister of Public Utilities, Logistics and E-Governance, Honorable Michelle Shabat, along with the Board of Directors of the Belize Port Authority, and certainly the Commissioner and the management, thought it important to start to raise awareness about the endless tremendous opportunities that exist within the maritime industry. And as you are aware, ships, when they arrive into Belize, obviously ships need people to navigate, to maneuver, and to bring them alongside. They also need the pilots. Those are again people who are within Belize, because Belizean waters is compulsory pilotage. So local Belizeans, qualified Belizeans, go on board those vessels, take over those vessels, and con those vessels from the pilot station into harbor so that you can get that vehicle, those goods, the box and barrel, right? That we normally get things from the US or from across the world. So it takes people to be involved in those kinds of things. And certainly it takes people to repair those engines, to keep the air conditions working, and all those different things. So it is then that organizing all those things, so people can now consider, in particular the youths, consider a career in the maritime. So
is this a push because there has been a recognition that there is a lack in terms of the necessary expertise within this particular area of operation?
That, yes, and also the fact that there are tremendous opportunities. For example, as it is right now, there are over 50,000 merchant marine vessels traveling across the entire world. All right? And it is also a known fact that there is a shortage of over 1 million seafarers across the entire globe. All right? So then, we are talking that there's need for jobs, right? So that's an opportunity for us, whether locally in Belize or internationally. And once you become qualified through one of the maritime university or schools, then it is almost immediate that you will get employed within the maritime industry, because of the large shortage of mariners, seafarers that is globally in need of mariners and seafarers at this time. Right?
So tell us, Major, about the scholarships that are being offered and just the areas of study that's being considered.
Okay, certainly. What needs to happen is that we are partnering with the Caribbean Maritime University in Jamaica. Certainly the minister, the chairman of the board, myself, went to Jamaica earlier this year, where we look at what opportunities exist for Belize. And it was then that we fully realized that we can partner with our brother right in the Caribbean, and they were willing to accept that we can partner with them. And so it is then that we are looking at 4 scholarships to be offered, but one has to make their own application to CMU and be accepted. And once they're accepted at CMU, then they apply to the Belize Port Authority to be able then to get one of these scholarships, which amounts are maritime transport, there is the logistics and supply chain management, there is port management, and also there is marine engineering. Those are the 4 scholarships that we are offering at this time, and they'll be fully funded by the ministry, the Belize Port Authority, and other stakeholders who have come together with a view then for us to be able to fund these scholarships. And let me also state, as you had mentioned earlier, that when we had the International Women in Maritime Day, we made an announcement to indicate that there shall be a scholarship which will be for a lady. All right? So that is a must, right? Okay. The ministry look at that, the board look at that, and we accept that it must be. But we also know that within the education system, more women are graduating from school. So obviously, while there's going to be one, will have to be for women. If it is that only women apply, then all the scholarships will be for women, right?
So it's 4 scholarships.
Yes, it is 4 scholarships. Yes.
Is there any opportunities because it's a 2-year degree, right?
Bachelor's degree. Yes.
Is there opportunities later on or discussions later on to probably divert into something like maritime law or seeking other avenues for other schools?
Those maritime law exists because there is the World Maritime University that definitely offer maritime law. There is the International Maritime Law University as well, which offer law. And again, that is one of the areas that need some, we need maritime lawyers in Belize as well. I don't think we have much of those in Belize. And so it is then that I am of the firm view that we need to transition from the terrestrial into the maritime, because there is tremendous opportunity there, and even the pay, right? When you compare the pay of those people who are involved in the maritime, there is by far more than what you'd ordinarily get when you're doing the traditional courses from the terrestrial side of life. Right?
Who can apply?
One, obviously you have to be a Belizean, certainly. And again, you can be, once you have English, mathematics, at least those 2, in terms of the CSEC, I think they call it, then you can apply. And certainly if you have associate degree, so once you have 2 English and maths at the very basic CSEC level, then you can apply, right? And once you're accepted by the Caribbean Maritime University, then certainly you apply to the Belize Port Authority, right? And then a committee will certainly look at all the applications, right, based on the respective criteria, and you'll be off to Jamaica in time to start September of this year.
Wow. Quick, fast, easy. When is the deadline?
Well, the deadline is set at this time for 1st of July. However, if there's a need to extend that, I'm certain that that will be a consideration. We will be looking at on the 1st of July to see how many people have applied. But I do know that we've had a couple people who have called who are interested. So it seems to us that the 1st of July deadline, as stated, may remain as is. But if there's a need, we do have the flexibility to certainly extend it with a view to get Belizeans involved and get them educated in the maritime world.
Okay.
Right.
Is there any requirements for the student after they're completed their 2 years? Do they have to come back to Belize?
Certainly, certainly. Like most government scholarships, obviously one will be bonded, and there will also be a requirement, certainly that when you return, you can also give some kind of contribution, right? In kind contribution, because nothing for nothing, something for something. Right? So you will be required to certainly, when you return to Belize, whether to give back in kind, because I believe that that's the only way, if you have a stake in it, that you certainly will be more enthusiastic about working in the industry. We are very, very excited about this opportunity, and we certainly want to get our young people focusing on something which can get them employed as quick as possible, and this is a journey that one can begin almost immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are some of the I guess characteristics that will be assessed, or some of the requirements that will be assessed to ensure that you are a successful applicant?
Well, certainly we will look at one, your academics.
Yeah.
Certainly we will look at the need in terms of the financial support. That certainly will be there, but that necessarily does not have to be a criteria. Certainly attitude, that is important, work ethics, those kinds of things, because you don't want people there just for the sake of being there. You certainly want very good ambassadors to represent Belize well.
Absolutely.
Right? And certainly you want to represent yourself well. And so you don't want anyone who will not be a good ambassador for Belize, nor for their family and themselves.
So in terms of the job opportunities and openings, what does that look like in terms of the landscape of the maritime area?
Well, as I indicated earlier, there are tremendous opportunities within the maritime field. To become a seafarer in and by itself, that is available, and as indicated earlier, there's a shortage of at least 1.5 million globally across the entire world. And also I can say for a fact that we were at Sea Trade earlier this year, where Royal Caribbean, one of the vessels that certainly come to Belize, one of the cruise ships that arrives in Belize, were saying that they are very, very short of accountants, as an example. So there's tremendous opportunities. All you have to do is to apply to those respective companies, respective shipping lines, and there are tremendous work opportunity. Also, one of the things that we are also looking at, not only the scholarship, is to get people employed on vessels, and all that is required is that, for example, those people in IT vets, if they are, for example, a waiter, or they have qualification as a mixologist to be to mix drinks, they have done perhaps hospitality, plumbing, electrician. Those people who are certified can also do what is considered a basic safety course under the IMO STCW convention, which is only a week course, and once they are qualified through a maritime training institute, then within after completing that 1 week course, they can be employed on one of these merchant marine vessels as well. And Honduras in the region is a crewing country where, again, we have several Honduran on ships, but we don't have much Belizean. So we, as the authority, are demonstrating to people, that to Belizeans, that there are tremendous opportunities out there within the maritime field, and this is an opportune time to start to make that journey into the maritime world, because work is available there.
Right.
couldn't have said it any better than that, Major Swazo. We're quickly running out of time.
Yeah.
We really want to thank you for stopping in this morning and sharing with the populace about this most great
Grand
opportunity,
opportunity.
dynamic opportunity for our young people to become educated and invest their time in an area that's not necessarily considered on a daily basis. So thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Yes, I too want to extend our sincere gratitude to you, as always, for welcoming us to be able to share this tremendous opportunity to our Belizean in general, but in particular our youths. I think this journey into the maritime industry is one that offers tremendous opportunities. So we're looking forward for those applications. Please do send them, and we will be looking at it very shortly to open that gateway for you in this world.
Well,
Thank you very much.
We hope that those applications come in quick before the deadline. You have till July 1st to send in your application to the Belize Port Authority for one of 4 of their dynamic maritime bachelor's scholarships. But we have to take a short break, and then when we get back, Olympic Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be joined by members from the National Olympic Committee, so stay with us.